We are delighted to present the Exemplary Leader Award to Mr. S. Ramprasad. He is the president of UST Product Engineering. He has empowered customers to achieve unicorn status and nurtured an entrepreneurial culture within, inspiring many employees to launch their own ventures or rise to leadership roles. So hearty congratulations.
Last 2 hours I was in the traffic, pretty much summarized my life journey for the last 30 years. At every stage I was thinking that I just made it, and there was some other thing that came up and the traffic just stood still. And the whole notion of perseverance and the hope that you're going to get there on time and finally making it. And I thought that 2.5 hours I learned so much sitting in this traffic and depending upon things that I can't, beyond my control, like the rain and the traffic was amazing. Anyway, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. It's also interesting that when you're in leadership roles, you're usually on the other side, giving away trophies, right? But you walk down the podium empty-handed. Kind of often wondered, how does it feel to be on the other side? And thank you so much for that privilege today. Okay. There isn't much I can speak. It's a phenomenal crowd of very experienced people with a lot of wisdom. And each one is an inspiring leader here, so I don't really know how you can pick winners from the finalists and others. But I'm sure there's a lot of inspiration I'm going to see through the rest of the course of the evening. The first one I heard was Prashant, so I'm going to take a leaf out of how Prashant went about, speaking about his experiences. Over the years, last 30 years, there are a few things that I've learned, especially from my parents, family, and most importantly, the team with whom I've worked. I've learned the power of tolerance because they've tolerated working with me for so many years. 3 things that I think are very important from what I've learned. The first and foremost is empathy. Now, empathy, it's kind of often in recent times I've been used in different contexts, but the way I see it is, let's take even business. I've been a sales guy for so many years. And then over a period of time, I realized that it's not about what you sell. What matters is what the customer wants to buy. And that's where I realized the power of empathy. Every time I could put myself in the customer's point of view to really understand why do they even want to buy what I have to offer. And quite often I realized that doesn't make sense, that what I'm offering may not be of value, and I walked away. And having said that, every time I made a sale, those have been customer for keeps, for a lifetime, right? Most of my sales happen because customer refers customers. The other is again with teams and people, right? When you work with teams, early in my career, I used to see how do I make the best use of the team that I'm working with. And later I realized that's probably not the right way to look at it, but rather look at what's going to make those teams successful from a career standpoint, personally and professionally. And when I started engaging with teams from that point of view, again, there have been teams for life, because it was no longer about how do I make the best use of them. It was more about how do they make the best use of the facility and build a career around themselves. So empathy has been a very important part of my journey. Second is grit and perseverance. Like I said, I wasn't sure, quite honestly, whether I'm going to make it. But the driver was amazing. The last 1 kilometer, he just reversed the car from one end to the other to get us here through the exit door. So, anything is possible, right? Even in Mumbai. So the power of perseverance and not giving up, because if I were to give up the first day of my career, I would have not taken off at all, because every single day, you either succeed or you learn. And for most part of my career, I've been learning. And finally, the power of integrity. So there have been times where, we have to make tough decisions, both in business as well as in your personal life, and I realized that there is a choice between right and wrong. And like they say in the movies, right, the right is usually tough and the wrong is usually easy. But I realized that it's kind of seems that way, but in reality, when you do things right, you always end up getting it right. So, but it's not easy. As leaders, there are those moments where you have to make the tough call, and I realized that every time I took the tough call, it really helped us and helped me in particular. So with that, once again, thank you so much for this opportunity and thank you so much for the award. Much appreciated.